Oh, how are you? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good whatever time it is in your atmosphere where you're hearing and seeing, hearing the sound of my voice, seeing my face. Okay. Welcome to Unstoppable Lionesses. I am your host, Dr. Coylette James, and as always, I'm ecstatic to be spending this time with you. I love it when we can get together, and normally I come on and I share with other lionesses that are amazing and unstoppable. But today, it's just going to be me. I don't know if it's going to be a treat for you or if it's going to be, oh my God, because she just like be quiet. I'm not sure. Hopefully, what I have to share with you will resonate with you and will help you because my goal, okay, I have to share this. This is so funny. As I'm thinking about it, I was at a conference not too long ago, and one of the ladies that was speaking, she was talking about different triggers in our life and different things that we go through and different changes, and we as women. And so she touched on postmenopausal, menopausal, and postmenopausal. And even some perimenopausal, but if the key is that you can be in the middle of a thought and that thought will just go it's like and you have to stop and you have to pause for a moment and just regather, and it just takes a moment to regather, but you have to regather. And I felt like I was having one of those moments then, just kind of trying to say what my goal is for today's broadcast. So I just wanted to throw that out there for those of you that may be in that season of life that you walk through certain different things such as that. Anyway, that being said, enough of that. So, I want to talk to you today about a subject that is really, really near and dear to my heart. And it is all in about shaping your perception. Number one, your perception of what you are able to think, your perception of what you're able to envision, what you're able to articulate, and then what you're able to produce. What you're able to think and envision and articulate, you will be able to produce. And a lot of times we have lost our place of imagination. Imagination, I think, would be a good word. From when we were children, when we were little girls, we had very keen and vivid imaginations. And we would think on things. And once we would start thinking on it, we would paint this picture in our mind of this grand thing that we were thinking on. For some of you guys, maybe it was the princess and the prince coming to rescue you. For some other ones, if you were like me, my grand thoughts were always of travel and going to exotic places and experiencing new things. And at this stage of my life, at almost 70, I'm still in that dreaming mode, and I'm still seeing the fruition of what I'm envisioning. That being said, this is what we're going to talk about today is making sure that you can embody in your heart, first of all, because the word of God says, and you'll see me kind of look down from time to time, since I'm doing 45 minutes on my own, I have notes to help keep me on point. Normally I just free flow, but yes, I am a professional speaker. So I do know how to free flow, but I also know how to bring structure to what it is that I'm trying to deliver. And that's what I'm trying to do today. So Proverbs, the 23rd chapter and the seventh, the 23rd division and the seventh verse says, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he. I think the King James says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So we have to understand that we have two thought places where thoughts are nurtured, where we come up with thoughts, where they're nurtured, and where we can start to envision the different things that we're thinking. So we already know that our mind is our central thought mechanism. But if you are spiritually connected, you have a thought place and process in your heart where things will develop in your heart first. And then you send that vision up to your mind. So what you think, again, you will begin to envision. What you envision, you will begin to speak. And what you speak will begin to manifest. Okay, so that's just a different way of saying what I originally said. If you can think it and envision it and articulate it, then you can begin to produce it. Then you can begin to produce it. You know, I teach all the time about the power of our words. Our words are how we frame our worlds. Remember, you're a daughter of the King, the creator of creation. Okay, not a king, not the universe, but the creator of creation, the king, and you're his daughter. And guess what? You carry his DNA, you have his ability to speak forth and see the world's frame just as he did. Now, it may not be on the same scale that he did it because, like, the cosmos is still unfolding. So, obviously, he has a big voice, okay? And his words are extremely powerful. I don't even have a word to articulate how powerful they are. However, as he created you in his image and in his likeness, he gave you also the ability to be a speaking spirit, just like he is. I like to say a speaking spirit, just like the first. The word of God teaches us in Genesis that we were created in his image and his likeness. When we think about in his image, we think, well, all of us look different. So how am I created in his image? It's his spirit. In his likeness, with the abilities to do what he does. Much smaller scale, obviously, but the ability and the power and authority, no less, to carry those things out. So that's why we need to talk about this, and we think about first and foremost on how we think. We got to think about what we're thinking about. Again, my talking notes. I got some things to share with you. Okay, so first off, thoughts are seeds. In your mind is the soil. Your thought in your heart is the seed, and your mind is where those thoughts are planted, and the mind is the soil in which they're planted in. Now, if you are thinking on whatsoever is good, whatsoever is pure, whatsoever is of a good report, your soil of your mind is good. It's good soil. It will produce an incredible harvest. All right. If in your mind, your soil is always thinking on negativity and what you cannot accomplish and what can't be done and the woe is me syndrome, then your soil is bad soil. And so it's not going to produce the harvest that God has intended for it to do. Again, I repeat a lot of things a lot of times, and that is because repetition is the mother of learning. If you hear something and you experience something over and over and over again, it sticks and it stays with you. So in repetition, we have to understand the power of the authority that God has given us. The power of the authority that God has given us. And that power is found in our words, how we speak forth, the things that he has given us. We were created by him, for him. Okay? We were created to will and to do of his good pleasure. That's the word of God. So therefore, we were created by him, for him. We were created with purpose and destiny woven in us. So when we go and we start to think about it in these terms, you were created on purpose. You were not an accident. For purpose. When he created you, he already had predestined a purpose for your existence. And you are created to walk out that purpose. You're not a mistake. I do not care about the connotation in which you were conceived. I don't care about that. I really, really don't. And guess what? If that is part of what has held you back, maybe this is some tough stuff. It may have been some really, really dark things surrounding your conception. But your mother, God bless her, chose to give you life in spite of that darkness. And now there are others of you that were absolutely positively created in love, and you were the manifestation of the love of your parents. And then there were those of you that was, oops, didn't expect that to happen. No matter what is the basis of your creation, you are not an accident. And you need to understand and recognize that God is the author and the finisher of your life. He spoke you into existence. I say this all the time. It wasn't about mama and daddy coming together. It wasn't. It was about the appointed time for you to be birthed out into this earth realm by whomever God chose to bring together to culminate that birthing. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I was adopted. I was one of those oops, obviously, okay? Because once my mother got pregnant, my father decided, oh, I'm done with you and that thing that's in your stomach. But guess what? Despite all odds, in 1956, when it was very much taboo to be an unwed mother, she weathered the storm of the scarlet letter of shame. She was put out of the home she was dwelling in because, oh, like, you're a marked woman because you're pregnant without a husband. And she chose to give me life. She chose to put herself into a home for unwed mothers and give me up for adoption. She chose life for me. I'm eternally grateful for that. So if you're here, no matter what your mama might have done in the midst of you getting here, you're here. So yet and still, she chose life. And God orchestrated, ordained, and put his stamp on that life. All right. I'm going into details with this because I got time. This is just me, but also because I need to make sure that your mindset is good soil. So that as God is depositing his God ideas within you, these phenomenal ideas that will propel you into who knows what kind of staging, what kind of wealth, what kind of influence and impact into the lives of those that he's already assigned to you. You have to be in that place where you understand your value and your worth. To pour into the life of others, you need to understand who you are. As you think, so are you. If you think that you're not worthy, if you think that you're a mistake, if you think that you have nothing to offer, then guess what? You're going to walk in that box with that dark cloud hanging over you, and you're not going to be able to pour forth like you should. Think about this. And this is fresh from the throne room. This is something God just dropped in my spirit. You have seen generational curses where the father was abusive, the great grandfather was abusive, the grandfather was abusive, the father's abusive. And you are the result of all of that abuse culminating in the life that you grew up in. Because they kept them, and it could be the mothers, like this, please, got my own testimony on that one too. It could be the mothers that grew up in abuse and all they knew was abuse, and they pushed that abuse onto you. Okay? If you don't break the cycle of what you feel you're worthy to receive. Maybe your mother wasn't the abuser, maybe she was the one always being abused. And you grew up seeing that abuse inflicted on her, and possibly the same individual was inflicting abuse on you. If you feel and you grow up and you think that all you're worthy of is the abuse, guess what you're going to continue to attract in your life? The abuse. Because you're going to allow it. Because you feel that that's all you're worthy of. I'm here to put an end to that today. Today. Okay? You are a pearl of great price. You were fearfully and wonderfully made, and you were crafted in such a way that God engrafted a value set upon your life so great that even you can't fathom. You can't imagine how truly, truly valuable you are. But if you can get a glimpse, if you can take hold of the fact that the creator of creation created you for purpose, that should change your thought about yourself. And when you change your thinking about yourself, now you can change what you're able to envision. Because if all I can envision is my limited capacity, then I'm going to have a problem articulating something greater than what I can envision. So I need you to get to that place where your thought turns into how valuable you are, how truly, truly great you were created to be. Greatness has been within you from conception. And now it's time that we tap into that greatness so that you can start to envision without limitation. I want you to get to a place where you can envision without limitation. One of my notes says that the enemy's battlefield is the mind. If he can control your thinking, he can stunt your destiny. So we're not going to any longer allow the enemy, which may even be yourself, to stunt your destiny. Romans 12:2 says, be inwardly transformed by the Holy Spirit through a total reformation of how you think. Total reformation of how you think. And that has to start with how you perceive who you are. And you can start that by realizing and recognizing whose you are. Again, we're not settling with mommy and daddy in this earth realm. We're looking at our Father, the one that breathed the breath of life into us, that said, for this appointed time, I need you. Let me say that again so you can get a hold to it. The creator of creation said about you, for this appointed time and space, I need you. I created you on purpose, for the here and the now. Because he could have created you and dropped you in any given space in the eternity timeline. He chose now. And as long as you're still breathing, you yet have purpose and destiny wrapped up, tied up within you. He has need you. Now, do we need him? We sure do, just to even take a breath. Okay? But when you flip that script and you realize that he has need of you, it changes the dynamic of how you view yourself. See, I see my value because my worth is caught up in, wow, Father, if I give myself to you, if I yield my mind to you, if I yield my heart to you, if I allow you to work in me so that you can work through me in the lives of others, then I can be the answer to what you need. I don't know about you, but that puts my value of myself on a whole nother level, whole different playing field. Absolutely positively changes how I perceive me. Totally. Totally. Does it give me the big head? Absolutely not. Because again, he created me for this. Can this chair that I'm sitting in get the big head because somebody built it for me to sit in it? No. This was what it was created for. And it was created just for me, I think, because I love it. It fits my body perfectly. I was created to answer the need that he had. And let me tell you this, let's break it down even deeper. I was created to be a Black woman to fulfill the purpose for which he had for me. You were created to be who you uniquely are, to fulfill the purpose he has for you. We need to come out of these identity crises. We need to come out of trying to be somebody else, trying to fit in, because I was not created to fit in. I can tell you that right off the top. I've never fit in, and I'm almost 70 years old, and I've never fit in anybody's mold, ever, from a child on. The teachers didn't know what to do with me, okay? Because I didn't fit their little mold. They couldn't tell me something, and just because they told it to me, I accepted it. No, you got to show me how this really works. My mind always said it needs to make sense to me. I am a why, not so much how. And especially with my walk with God, the how is you, Lord. If I can understand why, it just kind of helps me function. If you're trying to tell me something and it does not, just the why of what you're saying doesn't make sense to me, then I'm not receiving it. You know, it's like we all have different learning mechanisms. I've shared this before, and it's comical to me, but I flunked religion. I flunked religion in the 6th grade. I got F in religion on one of my report cards. It wasn't for the whole year, but on one of my report cards, I got an F. And my mother was like, how you flunk religion? Because what they're trying to tell me did not make sense to me. And they could not make it make sense because they were just going off of man's tradition and a ritual and had nothing to do with a relationship with God. And even at that point in time in my life, I may not have known how to actually articulate what I felt about God, but it was not over some man's ritual of telling me I got to do X, Y, Z. That was not working with me when what you're telling me to do did not make sense. I'm gonna leave that at that. My relationship with God is just that. It is a relationship. It is not built on religion. It is built on relationship. And they were trying to build it on religion, and it just was not working. So when we start to envision things, we have to see beyond the natural. Vision is more than what you can just tangibly feel. Here's my mouse. I can tangibly put this in my hand. I can feel it. It moves my cursor around my screen, and that's wonderful. That's great. But beyond what I can see it doing, there are codes in the computer that's down there that's causing the different things to work. There are apps, there's the internet, there's all kinds of things that I'm not seeing that is causing me to be able to speak into this camera right now, record what I'm saying, and make sure that I can push it out to you. There are things that you can't see with the natural eye, but that are at work behind the scenes. And when you have vision, the vision of God will help you see beyond the natural. It'll help your envisioning what he's giving you without limitation. Habakkuk 2:2 and 3 says, write the vision, make it plain. and they that read it will run with it. You've got to make sure that your vision is aligned with God's will. Your imagination has to align with God's will. And that's what makes it limitless. That's what makes it more than you can do on your own. Okay? If you have a vision and something you want to accomplish and you can do it without God's assistance, it's not God's vision. I promise you that. His visions are so immense and so enormous that it takes his hand upon it to bring it into fruition. So when you start to envision things, sometimes they scare you. Sometimes it makes you step back because you're like, how in the world is that going to happen? And then you start to doubt it because you've grown out of your little girl stage where there was no limitation and you could see things happening and unfolding. And now because life has kind of dimmed your imagination, you have started to imagine in reality. That's good. You have started to imagine in reality when the vision of God has nothing to do with reality. Okay. It has everything to do with his super upon your natural, making it happen. I have another broadcast that I do on a different network, and it's called Supernatural Success. And it is all about the super of God's power coming upon your natural abilities, coming upon the natural opportunities that you see before you and making them monumental, expanding the territory of your mind. You have to invite him in to expand the territory of your mind so that what you are envisioning doesn't have limitations. You may not understand how it can come to pass when you envision it, but that's not on you. Remember, I said a few minutes ago, I'm a why person, not a how person, so to speak. Yes, okay, there's planning, there's things that you need to do, there's strategies that you need to put into place. I get all of that. I'm not eradicating that. God is a very strategic God, all right? And he will walk you through the strategies and step by step of what you need to put in place to make that thought that you thought in your heart, that you planted now in the soil of your mind, sprout up and come into fruition. I get that. But if you start to tunnel vision into the how, you'll miss the who. Did you get that? If you tunnel vision into the how, you'll miss the who. Because the who is God. And when he puts his super on it, the how becomes just amazing. I'm at a place in life, and I'm so grateful to be in this place. And I tell my age all the time for a reason, because I'm constantly encountering women who feel they're past their prime, who feel that they've missed the window on their dreams. And I am here as a living, breathing witness. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. I'm a year and 5 months. I'm a year and 5 months from 70. And God has taken me on a whole new path. He's given me a whole new vision. He's given me a whole new outlook and stamina in life to do things that most women my age would not be tackling. And I'm so grateful. But the reason he can do that is because I'm available. It's because I've not passed my prime. I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started with the new assignment. I'm just getting started with a new season. The transition of one season into another season may not always be smooth or without pain or what you've envisioned. I'm transitioning into a new season of life as See, I can't even envision myself being single, okay? But with the transition of my husband last month, I'm like, a widow? That sounds like that word just does not even compute in my brain. But I'm transitioning into a season, a different type of season, a different type of existence. And the transition is not easy. It is not. I miss him. I miss the laughter. I miss the prayer. I miss so many different things about him. But what I know that I know that I know is that God didn't take me with him. So therefore, God has a purpose for me still here. And he is giving me a new lease on my purpose and propelling me out to where he would have me to be. So I cannot get so caught up in what was. And I think we talked about this last week. I can't get so caught up into what was that I miss what is and what's to come. Now, what was is always going to be a part of who I am. And it's here. I'm carrying it right here. But what is right now is this season of transition into the new assignments within my life. You may be in a season much like that, where you're transitioning into new assignments in your life. Lana Vassar, who is a prophetic voice out of Australia, had released a word of God in her social media circle yesterday. And I didn't read it until this morning, but it was just so incredibly powerful. And the word was that God is calling his daughters to new assignments. And oh my God, the last line of it just really wrecked me. It's a long word. It's a lot to read. But the last line wrecked me because he said, I'm releasing you into the miraculous with me. I'm putting you into a place in me that you can experience my miraculous powers. Is basically what it is saying. People, I'm not going to miss that. I'm not going to miss this season of my life. I don't know how many more seasons I have. I don't know how many more assignments I have, but I'm going to be fully engaged in the here and the now of what he's putting in front of me and in place for me in this season. This is what I'm trying to get you to see. This is what I need you to envision. And then when you can envision it, now you can articulate it and you can speak life to that vision. Your words create your world. You frame your future by what you say. Proverbs 18:21 says, Death and life are in the power of the tongue. God created the universe by speaking. And again, you are made in his image. Articulation brings agreement, and agreement brings alignment. When you start to articulate the vision that God has given you, then you come into agreement with what he said will be. What he says is so. And then once you can come into that agreement, then you're in alignment with where he wants you to go. When you start to declare and you say your affirmations, you're prophesying over your own life. My declaration is that I am not going to leave anything undone. I will not leave this earth realm until I have accomplished everything that God created me to accomplish. I'm not going anywhere until it is well done, good and faithful servants. I'm not going anywhere until that happens. I had the awesome honor to whisper into my husband's ear, baby, you did good. The things that you spoke, you were able to see it come into fruition for us. We bought a new home in January. It is amazing. It is an amazing home. Huge. My backyard is my own private park almost. I mean, I'm serious. But we were able to envision and walk in that and see that come to fruition together. Now, I envisioned us being here together for a whole lot longer than the 4 or 5 months that he was able to enjoy it. 4 months, 4 months. But he did that thing. He made it possible for it to happen. And I've heard him for years make declarations about what he wanted to see come to pass. And God did not take him until he fulfilled the promises that he made to him. I tell you, his transitioning has given me such a clearer picture of the faithfulness and the promises of God. I'm serious, because he was that one, that intercessor. He was that one that family was everything. He was that one that would move heaven and hell to make sure we were okay. Serious. So to see what he was able to manifest because of his tenacious prayers and not taking down and not giving up, no matter how he felt, no matter how challenged he may have been in his health and in his body, that man would still get up religiously every morning to make sure he could make those declarations. Let me tell you, the power of your words are amazing. And when you've aligned them, you're articulating according to what God said. See, this is why I have to get you not to walk in negativity. You've got to. My note says kingdom vocabulary. Speak what God says, not what fear says. Okay? Kingdom vocabulary. You got to speak. What is God releasing in the kingdom on your behalf? And you have to come in alignment with that. And that's what you have to speak over your life. This is how you're going to be able to move in realms and dimensions that you have not even envisioned yet. All but you will. Because I am decreeing and declaring over your life that whatever those limitations have been that have kept you locked into your place of either being devaluing of yourself or walking in fear of success. We can be self-sabotaging every time we feel that success is right there and is at hand. We will do something to destroy it because of the fear of success. I decree and declare today that that shall no longer, ever, ever, ever be your mindset. Ever. You are going to decree these 3 powerful declarations over yourself. And I want you to say them on a daily basis when you wake up in the morning, before you have a chance to think in the negative connotation of your life. Okay. Number 1, I have the mind of Christ and I think God-sized thoughts. I have the mind of Christ and I think God-sized thoughts, not the limiting, frail thoughts that man has, but God-sized thoughts. Say that one more time. I have the mind of Christ and I think God-sized thoughts. Number 2, my vision is clear and divinely inspired. It's not mucky. It's not mired. It is clear and it is divinely inspired. So we're not dealing in realistic vision. We're dealing in the divine, where God can show you beyond the natural. And I promise you he will. I can lay my life down on that because he's done it. He is not a respecter of persons. And if he has done it for me, there is no doubt in my mind he will do it for you too. Not that he can, but he will. He will do it for you. Your vision is clear. and it is divinely inspired. Number 3, I speak life, and I will see the fruit of my words. I speak life, and I will see the fruit of my words. I just shared the testimony of my husband. He saw the fruit of his words before he left this earth realm. He experienced the fruit of his words before he left here. You will experience the fruit of your words. So what are you speaking? Because remember, the power of life and death, or death and life, are in the tongue. What are you speaking? One more time. Here's your 3 declarations. I have the mind of Christ, and I think God-sized thoughts. My vision is clear and divinely inspired. I speak life, and I will see the fruit of my words. Now, hopefully you wrote that down. Go back. If this is the replay it over so you get it. If this is the live version, then there is a replay. Go back and watch it so you get that in your spirit. And then once you get that, when your thought, your vision, and your words align, you create conditions for supernatural manifestation. Now we're in that production phase. You've thought it, you've envisioned it, you've articulated. Now it's time to produce it. It's time to produce it. Seriously. Think about this. As women, we are women, right? This is Unstoppable Lionesses. We have the ability to birth forth. So if we look at it through the birthing stages, there is the conception, that's the thoughts. Then there's the gestation, that's the vision. Then there is the labor, that's the words pushing through. But then there is the delivery, and that's the action and the faith in manifestation. In manifestation. So you need to make sure that you are walking in a position to see the fulfillment of all of these different steps and seasons come to pass. Come to pass. I am telling you, we are living in a time right now where God is doing suddenlies. Suddenlies. You may have been in a place on the backside of the mountain for a long time. That was your preparation place. That was your gestation place, okay? Where he separated you out so that you can grow, so he can birth you out into this new season that you're getting ready to walk through. Let me tell you, don't take that lightly, because the longer you were in that place of preparation dictates how great the assignment is on your life. Now, I've had various different assignments through life in various different stages of preparation. And some of those preparation stages were in the wilderness, where it was just like, I don't know what is going on. And God, do you remember me? But he did. Just like Hannah was barren, and she did not know why she couldn't birth forth. But after she cried out to God, the word of God said when she went home, God remembered her, and she brought forth Samuel, one of the greatest prophets that ever lived. So you just have to understand there is a process, and you are walking through that process. You're going to think it. Why? Because you are what you think. You're going to envision it. Why? Because you become what you see. You're going to articulate it. Why? Because you manifest what you say. And you're going to produce it, because faith in action brings it to life. I did it. I did it. We're down to our last moment. And here is what I want to leave you with. All right. Everything you need, my lioness, everything you need is already in you. Now, what I need you to do is to roar it into existence. These are my closing words to you. Everything you need is already in you. Now, you roar it into existence. I love you.